Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews. And we got this covered 9 hours ago, from what I'm reading right now. Released an article Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker set for major reshoots as things aren't looking good. Well, it seems that they might be listening to all fans instead of just small amounts of fans. Let's get into it, shall we? We only got a few months to go before Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, the ninth installment in the main saga of the long-running franchise, brings the story of George Lucas started with A New Hope in '77 to its conclusion. While the recently released trailer definitely heightened the buzz and sense of expectation surrounding the movie, it looks like behind the scenes things aren't going so smoothly. Of course, Star Wars has been one of the most passionate fan bases of any media franchise, and they certainly aren't afraid to make their opinions known. Well, you got that right. Especially when it comes to the Disney era. After all, The Force Awakens was criticized from certain quarters for failing to bring anything new to the table, and The Last Jedi ended up as the most divisive Star Wars movie yet after making some very controversial changes to the established mythology. Now, it's sounding like The Rise of Skywalker is struggling to find a comfortable middle ground, as apparently it's set to undergo some major reshoots. Of course, reshoots are pretty common for any blockbuster nowadays, but according to entertainment journalist Art Tavana, Disney will be reshooting entire scenes and apparently things aren't looking good. That's in quotes right now for the pick. I'm being told, this is a quote from somebody. I'm being told that Disney is reshooting scenes for Star Wars. Don't quote me. In parentheses, it says, things aren't looking good. Too many variables and audiences to please. George Lucas, as a creative consultant, seems like a very likely occurrence, though there's no telling how much or say he'll have. Given that the film will see the return of quite a few original trilogy stars, including Mark Hamill as Luke, Billy D. Williams as Lando, Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine, it's not hard to see how things might be getting a bit messy. Throw in the fact that Leia Organa will appear via unused footage of Carrie Fisher, and it's understandable that Abrams might be struggling to piece everything together. Of course, there are also all the sequel trilogy regulars to account for as well, meaning that Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker will have a lot of character arcs to tie up and a lot of character or different types of fans to please. Let's just hope it's able to conclude the saga properly when it hits theaters on December 20th. Fat chance of that happening. But yeah, that's the end of the article. So it seems that the hype or there's going to be reshoots. And it's maybe some of the disdain from fans have actually reached the ears, or the right ears, and it's a tiny ray of hope. No pun intended with the ray thing. It's a tiny ray of hope that people involved might actually be listening. So yeah, let's see what goes on. This is interesting. And honestly, I don't think reshoots will be able to save Star Wars for me. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was a kid. At 2 years old, I saw the original trilogy. And I honestly cannot reconcile Disney Star Wars, as, with the exception of Rogue One, as enjoyable. I mean, sure, Clone Wars pre-Disney was very good. But, hold on one second. Clone Wars pre-Disney was very good, as I was saying. But, I'm worried that they might start pushing narratives in the new season of Clone Wars. I hope they don't. But my question is, how are they going to connect the Clone Wars to episode or between episode 2 and episode 3? There was never any mesh. Oh, this is why even George Lucas's pre-Disney Clone Wars was a bad idea. Because giving Anakin a Padawan, there was no true mention or even hint that Anakin had any teaching ability. There was no hint that Anakin was a master to a Padawan in episode 3. You get no hints, you get no sense that he taught anyone. So it's odd. That was the one thing that always resonated with me. You can, sure, you could pull all this stuff between episode 2 and episode 3, but there is still. You'd think that Anakin would have some sort of thought of Ahsoka. Or of the Clone Wars during the time between, but there was never any mention. I wonder how they will resolve this. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on this article and my thoughts on the Clone Wars. Because I could give a damn about The Mandalorian. I'll still watch The Mandalorian even though my earlier video stated it has political messaging and whatnot. But I will still give it a fair shake. Anyway, that's the video. You guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know what you guys think about this reshoots business. Do you think that Star Wars can be saved? Do you think that Star Wars can be as good as it once was with before Disney? Let me know. Anyway, this has been Orange Hat Reviews, and I'll be uploading this tomorrow from the time that this is recorded. So y'all have a good night.